talk cricket, shall we? Not long to go until the big prize is up for grabs. The Little Urn is on the line, and that is what is pictured on the front of the Observer's sports section this morning, and maybe a good time to take on Australia in that first test. The Times go with no Hazlewood, no Cummins. England mustn't blow. Rare chance. Well, as has been a theme in recent weeks, let's speak to esteemed cricket journalist from Australia. Adam Collins joins us. Adam, good morning. No Hazlewood, no Cummins. You boys may as well not turn up.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Yeah, let's 5-0 England.
There we go. Thank you.
What I would say is that, I mean, that headline's bang on. If England can't capitalise on this situation in Perth, they're in all sorts. I mean, the first test of series, indeed the first ball of Ashes series over the years have carried so much weight. But to imagine a world where England can't get themselves up for this, surely they'll be fully aware of the opportunity that presents. Cummins we've known for a couple of months. Hazlewood was in terrific nick against India in the one-day games they played last month. He was playing Shield cricket as a final tune-up, and at the final hurdle, a bowler who has, to be fair, been injury-prone in the last few years, he's gone down. That's a massive omission for Australia.
It's felt, though, we've spoken a lot in the build at this, that quartet has been so durable for Australia in recent years, that all four of them. So for one to be missing, Scott Boland comes in and we know what he's done against England in the past. For two to be missing, as you said, this feels like Ben Stokes, Brendan McCullum must be drilling into the players. You've got to fly out the blocks in Perth with this opportunity in front of you. Yeah,
that's it. And look, Boland set and forget. His test record's outstanding. They won't have a concern with him filling in. In fact, they've always planned to have 4 or 5 fast bowlers play in this series anyway. It's just they didn't expect it to be at the first time of asking. So Brendan Doggett will almost certainly make his test debut at age 31. We'll talk more about him, I'm sure. But then complementing the experience of Boland and, of course, the left-armer Mitchell Starc. So they won't be too worried about who they're putting on the park. But it's more what, I think, psychologically what this represents for England, the chance to get their claws into Australia in the first test of a series. How infrequently has that happened over the journey? So, yeah, I would say if Australia lose the first test match, they've got the muscle memory and the experience and they're battle-hardened to kind of psychologically come back from that. If England don't seize the opportunity here, they'll have a long road to go after this, because the next test is at Brisbane, a day-nighter where Australia have been outstanding over the years, and it only gets harder from there. So there is so much riding on how England come out of the blocks, especially now Hazlewood's down.
Go on then, tell us about Brandon Doggett for those who've not seen too much of him.
I love it. The fact that his name's Brendan, not Brandon, probably indicates how anonymous that he is, right? And that's fair enough. I get it. He did play some county cricket this year, I should add. But broadly speaking, he's been on, I would say he's been on the fringes for a while. He was in an Aussie Test squad as far back as 2018, but only in the last couple of seasons where his Shield numbers have been outstanding, he's forced himself to the front of the queue. And that's never easy in Aussie cricket, given how many fast bowlers they often have at their disposal. He's easy on the eye. He kind of glides to the crease. Similar to Gus Atkinson aesthetically. He's 5'11". He nibbles it around both ways. Lots of experience in Shield cricket, so they won't have a problem with the path that he's taken to reach the Test team. But I think we all know, anyone watching knows that it's different when you're out there in the cauldron of a Test match. There'll be 55,000 people there on day one at Perth Stadium, and the eyes of the cricketing world all on him. So that's the bit you can't know until you've done it.
Adam, it's Martin Samuel here. You mentioned the psychology of it. Could it work in some way in Australia's favour, the fact that there won't be as much expectation of them in the first test, and the expectation will rather be on England's shoulders?
I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you have, Martin, because that's how I feel. I reckon the expectation game is that, look, with Cummins omitted, or not omitted, missing with injury, that was one thing. Like, you can almost quarantine that. We've known it so long. We've been prepared for this eventuality as Australians. But Hazlewood is Hazlewood's the Lamborghini, right? He is a superb cricketer who's only gotten better with age. 295 Test wickets. And the thing with Hazlewood in injury is that these always start out as small things. He missed 4 of the 5 Ashes tests 4 years ago. Missed the majority of a Border Gavaskar series against India before that. He's missed a lot of cricket where it's been a small injury and it's grown to become far worse when he's tried to get up to play the series. So that'll be the major concern for the Aussies behind the scenes. Not really about Hazlewood missing in Perth, but what it might mean for, Brisbane, and on we go to Adelaide for a day test match, and of course pitches that'll really suit him at Melbourne and Sydney. So they'll be hoping it's Hazlewood out for the whole series from that comparative advantage perspective. But for England, it means that There is so much riding on them making sure they get it right. And at the selection table too, Martin, you'd remember well 4 years ago when they blinked at selection.
Yeah.
They didn't pick Broad and Anderson for the first test in conditions that would have suited. They know Perth's going to be bouncy. They know it's the quickest pitch in the country since they moved over the road to the Casino Stadium a few years ago. If they're going to try and blast Australia out with fast bowling, go for it. If that's plan A, play them all. Forget about the off-spin of Bashir. Play Wood. Play Archer, play Josh Tongue, play Bryden Cast, get it up him. If that's what they're going to do, go all in at Perth and see what happens. I don't think there's any room for conservatism here.
But it is interesting talking about that battery of fast bowlers, Adam, as the charm offensive from the Australians continue welcoming the English to the tour. I think it was Mitchell Johnson saying, look, everyone speaks about Jofra Archer like he's played 100 test matches and one of the greats. He's a wonderful bowler, but he's not played loads of test cricket. And maybe Mitch Johnson feels England are putting a lot on the shoulders of Archer, not knowing quite how he'll go and how long he'll last.
It can be a brutal place to play Test cricket, Perth. That's what I would say. It's hot, it's unforgiving, it's a cauldron. It's a tough place for him to start off the back. I know he played a couple of Test matches in the summer, and that was a huge hurdle for Archer to clear. I think everybody objectively wants a fit, strong, fast Jofra Archer back playing consistent Test cricket, because the irresistible touch that he was in 2019, that confrontation with Steve Smith, that's the stuff you dream of as a Test cricket fan. But let's just hope he gets through the first test in good nick and he can play a major role in the series, because if you're going to start anywhere with a body that's not quite right, it wouldn't be Perth, which probably would provide pause for thought about Mark Wood. I know he was off scanned this week. They came through clear and all good in theory, but that might be the one small reservation they have about Perth specifically. You don't want to cook these guys in week one. So it's a tricky balance to strike. I don't doubt that.
Just on the batting order then for Australia, where are we with Cam Green in terms of whether he can bowl or not and how that will affect how the top six looks?
Yeah, they'll be chuffed with the way that Green bowled in the Shield during the week. He got one wicket, but he bowled well. The clips I saw, he was aggressive. He's the kind of Cam Green that Australia want. They want a guy who can bowl, if needs be, hostile spells. They don't just want him running in and bowling some overs to give some respite to the bigger quicks. He'll have a big role to play with the ball, and he pulled up fine as well. So what that means, weirdly, is that because Green is fine, he won't bat 3, he'll bat 6. He'll play as the specialist all-rounder. And Jake Weatherald, who we spoke about on the program last week, will also make his Test debut alongside a man he's played a lot of first-class cricket with in Brendan Doggett when they played at South Australia together. Of course, since then, Weatherald's gone down to Tasmania and done a fine job since moving, a bit of a journeyman. But yeah, they're going to back in the experience of Khawaja at the top of the list, then Weatherald opening with him, Labuschagne at 3, Smith and Head 4 and 5 pick themselves, and Cameron Green will slot in nicely as the all-rounder at number 6.
We've clipped up that bit of you predicting a 5-0 England win, Adam. That's all we needed from today. Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll chat soon.
Cheers, Adam.
Chat you in Perth.
There we go. Interestingly, in the build-up, Jackie, there's maybe a few questions asked about England's preparations. They've only played this one inter-squad game effectively against the England Lions. But Sir Andrew Strauss, who was the last England captain to win there in 10-11, I think spoken this week about how important it is to get that balance right between the intensity, between being abused everywhere you go by Australian fans and trying to actually find some way of enjoying the tour as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sir Alistair Cook in the Times has said that there's been so much talk about preparation. He said, but in his 4 series abroad, preparation wasn't the key factor. There were other key factors, so people need to kind of chill out a bit about that. But I think the interesting thing, seeing how Joe Root was welcomed, should we say, by the local newspaper, Western Australia, because he's only averaged 14 in his 2 test matches there, and just giving him a load of stick. But the players will be used to that, won't they? And something else that Alistair Cook said was about making sure that you do get out and about, making sure you go out to restaurants. Yeah, you'll get a load of stick from Australians, but I think English people are quite used to that anyway. You don't have to play cricket over there, do you, to be abused by Australians? I've lived out there for a while, and that's plenty. So yeah, I think that is a case of just understanding that you're getting amongst it and being a good tourist and taking all the stick and then putting it all out there on the field. And in terms of what you're talking about with Archer, Tuffers in the Mirror today saying, don't hold back. Play fire the bullets straight on, and I guess you just got to hope that his body holds up to the test out there, literally.
It's pointless going out there with this pace attack and then pulling your punches in Perth, because they're talking about producing a pitch that's like the Wacker at the new stadium. So that, you know, we've got the weapons for that at last, because I've seen too many test series out there where we're trying to bowl fast medium and it's doing nothing.